Shabbos Daf Tzadik Gimel. How's everybody doing? The pasuk says, "Im nefesh achas techta ba'asoisa." There are three words here in the singular. According to Reb Shimon, they come to exclude any time a person does a malacha with someone else on Shabbos, he's pater, because the Torah says in singular, you do it by yourself and then you're chayiv. They come to exclude three cases, starting from the least chiddush to the biggest chiddush. A case where one person does the akira and the other person does the hanacha. Both pater. Second case, if both of them are capable of carrying this item by themselves individually and they do it together, that's different. No one really carries like that, pater. And the biggest chiddush is, even if it's a very heavy item, where you typically need two people, and that's how people carry things, a heavy refrigerator, two people, nevertheless, on Shabbos, both of them are pater. Rabbi says, I agree to you that there are three miyutim in this pasuk, all in red. However, two of them are referring to the case of Shnaim Shasu, and one of them is talking about something else. So therefore, according to Rabbi Yehuda, the two easiest cases are excluded, and therefore, one person does akira, one person does anocha, or in the case where both of them can carry the item by themselves, both pater. The third meal comes to say that if Sanhedrin made a mistake and said, for instance, you could eat chaylev, and you go ahead and you eat chaylev, you are pater. Rameir says no. This pasuk only has two miyutim. The two words nefesh achas go together. It's one miyut. Ba'asoisa is a miyut by itself. Therefore, I'll exclude if one person does an akira and one person does an anocha. In that case, you're pater. But in the two other cases, ze yachal ze yachal or ze ni yachal, in both cases you are chayev. And the second miyut of the pasuk comes to exclude the case of when Bez made a mistake, Sanhedrin made a mistake, and you ate chayla because of them, you are pater. In a case where one person could carry the weight all by himself, the other person does not, he cannot, let's say he lends one finger or he's physically too weak, the person who could carry all of it by himself, he's chayiv, the person that is helping out is pater. The question is, why is he pater? He helped out, he carried somewhat. The answer is because misayeya ein bo mamish. The helper is as if he's a nobody. He doesn't carry anything. And the Gemara goes on to prove it from three different places. The halacha is that by a zav, who sits down on something or lays down on a beged, he's metama that beged b'medrus, provided that he puts most of his weight on the beged. So let's say he's laying on a bed and you put a beged under each one of the legs. He's not putting all his weight on each one of the legs. L'chari, he's only putting down 25% of his weight. However, if you were to remove one of the legs, the bed will collapse. Therefore, we view each leg as if it's carrying all of the weight, and all four begadim are tummy. However, when it comes to an animal, since an animal can balance himself on three legs, all four begadim are tar. The question is why? Why don't we view each leg as a helper, as a misayeya? The answer is because misayeya ain't by mamish, and therefore they're all tar. Perhaps you'll say, I'll tell you why they're all tar, because there's a suffix here. Maybe he lifted up his leg, the one that you think the beged is tummy, that leg he lifted up. The answer is that when it comes to a zav, and we have a suffix, we say everything is tummy. For instance, if a zav lays lengthwise on a table, like in the blue arrow, the table is tummy, because all his weight is on the table. If he lays on the width of the tables, all five tables, they're all tar because each one is only carrying a fifth of his weight, and that's tar. But let's say he fell asleep, and you don't know which direction he went. He started out lengthwise, but perhaps, or he started out to the width, and perhaps he went to the length. We don't know which way he went, and therefore all the tables are tamei. So we should say the same thing by the animal. The answer is because misayeya ein by mamish. Even if the animal put the weight down, it's misayeya ein by mamish. He's just a helper, and that doesn't count. Rabbi Yossi says that a horse, when he leans forward on his forelegs on a beged, they're metama, but his hind legs are not metama beged. And a donkey is the reverse. And we don't say, perhaps, by a horse, for instance, the hind legs should also be metama, because they are helping. Misayeya ein by mamish. The avodah in the Beis Hamikdash, the kohanim couldn't wear shoes; their feet had to be flat on the surface of the Beis Hamikdash. What if he put one foot on a stone or a bench? Well, if he removed that stone or bench, and the kohen could keep his balance, his avodah is kosher. The question is why? The bench was a misayeya; it helped him out. He put some of his weight on it. The answer is misayeya ein by mamish. The halacha is, when the blood comes out of the base of the shechita, you have to catch it with a kli, you have to hold the kli with your right hand. And if your left hand assisted in catching the blood, kabbalah sadam, the avodah is kosher. Why? It's misayeya, it was helped by the left. The answer is misayeya ein by mamish. This is machlokes in Rameir when he says, ze yachal v'ze yachal. Two people who are very capable of carrying an item all by themselves, and they help each other to carry it. According to Rameir, they are both chayiv. The question is, do you need this item to have 2 shiurim, 2 dried figs worth, 1 fig for each person, or they share the chiyuv in 1 dried fig? And the Gemara brings 3 rayas to this as well. First raya is from the case that we had before, when a zav is laying on a bed. You say that all 4 talesos that are under the legs are tameh, but we don't have 4 zavim here. Perhaps you should need 4 shiurim of zav. You should have 4 roivs of zav, and you have 1 zav that provides tumah to all 4. You see that 1 shiur is enough. If a deer was trapped in a house, you close the door, you are chayiv. 2 people close the door, they are potter. But if the door is very heavy, they are chayiv if they close the door. The question is, but you only have 1 deer. You should need 2 deers for 2 people. The answer is, all you need is 1 shear. Another raya. If 2 people stole an animal, they shechted the animal, they are chayiv 4 times if it was a sheep, 5 times if it was an ox. The question is, why? You only have 1 shechita here. You should have to have 2 shechitas in order to be mechayiv the 2 of them. The answer is, one shear is enough for 2 people, and so too in our sugya. The Gemara wants to bring a raya from a reed that helps out on the loom. If 2 people carry it, they are chayiv. And the question is, perhaps have a raya. There's not enough material for both of them. And the answer is, perhaps we are talking about a case that there's enough material, so that's not a good raya from there. It says the Mishnah, if a person takes out a kli into Rosh Hashanah, and in the kli there's food, but the food is not a proper shear, it doesn't have a full fig's worth, so he's pater on the food, and he's also pater on the kli because the kli is secondary to the food. If a person takes out a live human being on a bed, he is pater for taking out the human being and pater for taking out the bed. The bed is secondary to the human being, that's why he's pater on the bed. But the human being, there's a new concept called chai noises atzmai. The live person assists in lifting himself up. You're not carrying dead weight. You're carrying a live person, which is lighter than a dead person, because he assists with the gravity or whatever you want to explain, and therefore you're pater on him, and therefore you're also pater on the bed. However, if you carry a dead person, you are chayiv on the dead person, and if you take out a kazais of a dead person, or kazais of a nevela, or a kadash of a sheretz, you're also chayiv on Shabbos. Have a wonderful day.